What are 7 major core muscles? So we're going to be talking about the muscles themselves, and we're going to be talking about why they're the major muscles and some potential exercises that are going to be useful for accessing these muscles and building them into what would be one integrated core. If you want to build your core strength and stability, please do click the link below and go and find out a little bit more about my How to Build Core Strength and Stability 12-week program. In there, it's a progressive bodyweight beginners program, and you start off with the basics and then we build through the 12 weeks. Once you get to the end of the 12 weeks, you then get the intermediate and advanced workouts open to you, where we start to use different bits of equipment like dumbbells, kettlebells, resistance bands, gym balls. So if you do have those equipment, it's going to be a little bit more effective for you and it's going to work you a little bit harder. But first, start with the beginners 12-week program. The first 3 muscles that we're going to be talking about are the sort of the more well-known ones. So what we've got here is we've got sort of a front and side view, and then we've got a bird's eye view in this image just here. So the first 3 muscles, or you could say 4 muscles, I'm sort of cheating a little bit. You've got the rectus abdominis. Now the rectus abdominis, although it's not necessarily visible here, but basically with this little sort of the six-pack muscle as it's known, you would have the rectus abdominis here, and then another little pocket of muscle fibers here, and another little pocket of muscle fibers here, and then finally one at the top. So you've got the rectus abdominis is the six-pack muscle, or the one that gets called the six-pack muscle. On here, obviously, you can see it. So this would be the front, and this would be the back, and then you've got the rectus abdominis here. The next muscles is the internal and external obliques. Now the external obliques, you can see, are the ones that run up the side. Now they are sort of done in layers, which is why I've got this bird's eye view, because what you can start to see here are the different layers to the muscles. So obviously the external obliques are the ones on the outside. They are external. And what you can see here, just about hopefully, is this first sort of line. Again, the most external line is the external obliques. What you would then have underneath these, so this is the external obliques here, what you would then have underneath here is you would then have the internal obliques. And again, that shows up on the diagram just here with the, let's just say, the middle line. So you've obviously got that on both sides. These sort of 2 or 3 muscles, if you want to split them into 3, this is known as the abdominal wall. So this is the one or this is the part of the core that is most well known. What we then have is the transverse abdominis, or as some people abbreviate, the TVA. Now this is the most, let's just say, internal muscle, and it basically wraps around the torso like so, joins in to the rectus abdominis, or say joins into, it's one big fascial sheath that goes around the core, and all these muscles fit within that fascial sheath. So it's a bit like there's like a suit of armor, if you will, with pockets, and all the muscles are in these different pockets. So they're all joined, which is why it makes or why I describe it as one core rather than a set of individual muscles. Because when we're training these muscles, we need to start thinking about them as one unit rather than individual muscles. And this is the way that the 12-week program is set up. It's not there to train the individual muscles, it's there to train multiple muscles in the way that the core is designed to work, which is as one unit. So with regards to the sort of first part, or the first slide, and we've looked at these first 3 muscles, what we've got is basically the front and side of the torso, and what we are now going to do is start looking at the back muscles and some, let's just say, more lesser known core muscles. Muscle number 4, one that you may not know or may not realize, is the latissimus dorsi. Now the latissimus dorsi isn't really on this diagram, but basically if you can imagine the shoulder girdle sort of coming out here with the arm coming down, you would have in fact, yes, let's just put that on there. So we're kind of going in that sort of area. So the latissimus dorsi, although it attaches into the thoracolumbar fascia, which is about here, you would have the latissimus dorsi coming all the way down here, which is a major spine stabilizing muscle. So it's a good muscle to keep active, to keep strong, and to know how to activate at the right time, because it will assist and stabilize this, or it will assist the other core muscles and stabilize the spine, making the core as a unit that much stronger. What we then have is the quadratus lumborum, or as some people call it, the QL, which sits down here, which you can just about see. I've just drawn over it, but basically comes up, joins into the rib, and joins into all 5 of the lumbar vertebra. And again, this is more of a buttress for the lumbar spine, so it helps hold the lumbar spine up. It's not necessarily a concentric shortening type of muscle, so it's not one that needs side bending. What you really need to be able to do is keep the spine in its neutral posture, and then for example, in a plank, lift an arm or a leg up, and what will happen is the QL will activate. So again, these are the types of exercises that I've put into the 12-week program. They are multiple muscle or multiple core muscle exercises. So what we're trying to do is get the core working as one unit rather than all these individual muscles. Then the final 2 is longissimus and iliocostalis. So you get longissimus. Again, you can see the thoracolumbar fascia down here, and it's not just in this little corner of the thoracolumbar fascia, it's throughout the torso. So that one fascial sheath that I talked about, the thoracolumbar fascia is just one part of that. And then you get longissimus coming up into here, and then you got iliocostalis coming up into here. Now again, these are major lumbar spine stabilizing muscles, because although they attach onto sort of, let's just call it the mid back, this is what they anchor on. So the anchor on here stabilizing, or the anchor onto the mid back stabilizing the lower back. So that's something that's important that we need to understand, because what most people try and do is they'll try and access multifidus, which is here, which is a lower back muscle, but it's not a major stabilizing muscle. That's more about proprioception and letting the brain know whereabouts the spine is relative to each segment of it. There is a degree of stability there, but again, it's only from segment to segment, which is vertebra to vertebra. So when we're talking about major core muscles, it wouldn't really fit in that category. Let's just describe it as like a minor core muscle. So these are the major ones that we're talking about. And where they sit, obviously you can see here, you've got iliocostalis, you've got longissimus, you've got quadratus lumborum, and then you would have latissimus dorsi that would sit sort of, again, in this sort of position across the back on each side. And obviously the other ones, longissimus, iliocostalis, and quadratus lumborum are out there. You've then got multifidus in here, and psoas and so forth. So you've got various different muscles in and around the spine, which are going to help stabilize it. But we're mainly talking about lats, QL, longissimus, and iliocostalis. And as I mentioned, these are the muscles that we're trying to build in the Core Strength and Stability program, but we're doing it with exercises that try to bring them together and make them work as one unit, in so much as the plank, the side plank, the bird dog, and the bridge. They are the 4 fundamental ones that I will always sort of go to, because they are the fundamental exercises, and then we grow out from there. So it doesn't mean that we stay there. We try and grow outwards and use those exercises as our foundation to build on top of. If you've liked this content, please do hit the like button below, or the super like button if you've learned something new. If you want to watch more of these videos, hit the subscribe button. I release 2 a week, so they'll just go straight into your inbox. And then finally, if you have a question or a comment, please do leave it below, and I'll do my best to answer it or react to it as best I can and as quick as I can.